You're tuned in to Streamer Conversations, the podcast spotlighting Twitch streaming pioneers who are reshaping entertainment one broadcast at a time. I'm Nerd Titan, your host and fellow streamer, bringing you authentic conversations with the innovative creators behind your favorite content. Our mission is simple: share the compelling stories behind the streams. We'll explore pivotal moments, personal challenges, and transformative experiences that happen when people share their passions with global audiences. Before we continue, let me tell you about our sponsor, AdvancedGG. Hey, if you're serious about gaming, you know staying sharp is everything. That's where AdvancedGG comes into play. Energy and focus supplements made for gamers who want to keep their edge. With their new sour black cherry flavor, it's incredible. Bold, with just the right amount of tartness. Whether you're grinding rank or pulling an all-night stream, this stuff helps you stay locked in. And the best part? You can grab 10% off your order with code NerdTitanTV10. No minimum, just straight up savings. Hit up AdvancedGG and fuel your game the right way. Hello, I am Nerd Titan. I am here with ThatOneMusicKid today for Streamer Conversations, where your story matters. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's my end of the week. I mean, it's everybody's end of the week for most typical people, but you know, it's the end of the week. I'm vibing. I've been having a good day so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fridays are good days.
Is there an end of the week? I'm a full-time content creator. Like, there's always like something that has to be done. So like
I mean, I am too, but I tend to work in at least 2 days off a week. So I have, like, you know, that same break that everybody else gets.
Yeah, I do that on Saturdays and Sundays, where I only like the only thing that is real work is posting about, because I do YouTube content, is YouTube tutorials when they go up. But that's kind of automated as it is on half the platform. So it's just as easy just pulling up a tab and pulling up my verbiage I've had typed up for it. But yeah, Saturdays and Sundays are usually my days with. I'm a dad of twins, so like it's.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, they're 6 years old and they're chaos gremlins. If you ever saw the movie Gremlins, and the evil gremlins they're saints compared to my children. Like, they're really.
I'm unfortunately a little too young for the Gremlins movies. That's a little before my time.
Go watch them. They're good. They're cheesy. If you like horror comedy. That's kind of what they are.
Oh, I love like Tucker and Dale and stuff like that. Like, I love horror comedy.
Dale and Tucker. Oh, that's actually one of my favorite movies. That's my top 5. Like, because it's such a great movie. So let's get into this, because I can talk movies forever. That's not why we're here. What initially drew you to streaming on Twitch? Was there a specific moment? All right, we'll go with the first question. What initially drew you to streaming on Twitch?
So I was in high school when Justin TV came out. I know, I'm a child.
No, I was a child once.
It was 2013, 2014-ish, I think, when I found Justin TV. I was with an ex at the time who was really into Twitch, as it had just rotated over to Twitch at that time. And I still have my old Justin TV handle. I don't remember what it is, but I know I still have it. But she was like, "You'd be really good at this. You're really funny. You have a good story to tell. I think you'd be really, really good at doing this whole entertainment thing." And so I kind of started around 14, 15-ish, that time period there. And I didn't really take it seriously. Like I said, I was in high school. I was in high school and early college days, and, you know, there were bigger fish to fry. I had, you know, schoolwork to work on and stuff like that, and things just didn't really, you know, connect for me until 2017, 2018, when I moved out on my own for the first time, and I had my own space and I could really explore things creatively a little bit more, and I didn't have, you know, the family pressures breathing down on me, and I didn't have these people like consistently going, well, you need to be this, do this, be that. And I you know, I really took off then. The pandemic really helped, as it did with a lot of people's content creation and things like that.
That pandemic money was nice.
It really gave me a sense of security in that, like, well, it wasn't even about the money. It was about the fact that I found people in the pandemic who were. It was more about finding the people, and a lot of the people that I met in the pandemic have stuck around for a long time, and I appreciate each and every one of them to this day. Like, I know there's going to be a bunch of them watching this today who just, you know, have really helped uplift me and helped get me through. You know, I'm a very socially awkward person, and like my streams are very much just like a you're going to come hang out with me and we're going to come do this really weird thing together. And it's going to be a new adventure for us, but it's going to be a fun time. And the pandemic really helped me open up more to being a person on the internet and not just a face on the internet. You know what I mean? Like the
Absolutely.
difference was at first I was being just this face doing the thing because, I figured if I was going to be playing a game, I might as well be streaming it. But the pandemic really got me to be the more, because I want to be around people and because I want to entertain, I'm streaming.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of us started that way. That way, if I'm going to play a game, I guess I will stream. And the pandemic did the same thing for me because I started in 2020. But in 2021, when I wasn't going back to work as a bartender and my tech job had us working from home, but I was a manager. So you know how much work a manager actually really does at a tech company. We don't do a lot.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot, to be honest. We don't. Our team, the way I manage, my team was doing all of it. So I was streaming at the same time. Like, you know what I mean? But taking us back to that very first stream, what games were you playing and how did you feel before hitting that go live button?
Oh God, I used to be a GTA streamer. Fun fact about me. I'm a Valorant streamer now. Well, how far the apples have fallen from the tree. But I used to be a GTA streamer. The very first big streams that I did were actually for Extra Life. Because I used to be a really big Rooster Teeth fan back when that was still a thing. Yeah. And I wanted to be like them so fucking bad that I guess I should have asked the content rating on this before I came on here. I swear like a sailor.
I swear like a sailor as well. According to all the podcast platforms, as long as we're not swearing every single word, we don't have to put the expletive on.
Okay, cool. But we did an Extra Life. We did a 24-hour attempt of the GTA Mastermind Challenge. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I'm not. But
it's like Halo's Lasso. It's all the challenges. You can't die. If you die, you restart the challenge over again. You get like limited resources. You get like no restarts. Like if you breathe the wrong way, you essentially have to restart the challenge.
Oh wow.
We did that for 24 hours. That was really fun. It was nerve-wracking to do, but I did it with my current girlfriend, my ex-best friend, and her ex at the time. It was a fun time. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed getting to do that with them. I wouldn't trade that first experience for the world. We ended up raising like $400 for the kids that day.
Oh, wow.
Which was more than I ever thought, considering at that point I was streaming to my best friend, my ex-fiance, and one random guy that I met playing GTA. So the fact that we managed to raise that much money was really, really cool to me.
This is my 5th year with Extra Life. I normally hit around 500 a year, but keep in mind that I also took 9 months of last year off, like off. I burned out and crashed out.
Which is valid. Everybody deserves a little bit of a crash out as a treat.
Yeah, it was one of those things. But I came back like a vengeance, though. Like it went from why do I stream? Not why did I start streaming, but why do I want to stream now? And for me, I want to leave a legacy. If that legacy is helping people, and that's the core of this podcast, is through your story, you can help somebody else that may be just getting on that story. Which content creators inspired you when you were first starting out?
Definitely Rooster Teeth. A lot of the stories that they had to tell and a lot of the people that they brought in, especially in the latter half of their 10 years, a group really spoke with me. And like just the way that they interacted with each other and like the comedy that they had and the different types of content and the fact that they did so many different types of content and still succeeded in a day and age everybody's like niche down.
Yeah.
The fact that they could do so much and still be such a conglomerate and just a driving force in the industry really pushed me to be able to do the things that I didn't think I could do before.
Yeah. And speaking on the niching down, I think that what most people think when we say niche down is to play one game. But for myself, I've niched down into survival craft games. Like I'm a variety streamer because I play every survival craft there is, but I'm niched down into a category.
I call myself a Valorant streamer. I play Valorant, but in a variety of other shooter games.
Yeah.
I've recently been exploring a lot of the extraction shooter genre, like, Tarkov, Gray Zone, Delta Force, that kind of stuff. I've been playing a lot of those recently.
Check out Marathon when it drops.
I'm a Destiny fanboy. I'm a Bungie fanboy, have been since 2013. Played through all of the original Destiny, played all the way through the Destiny 2 up till the last expansion.
Yeah.
I have been gnawing at the bit to get my hands on a marathon key. I haven't gotten one yet, but I've been gnawing at the bit.
I watched Bive talk about it, and then Dado, I think I watched his YouTube video about it. I wasn't in for his stream. I was a Destiny fanboy. The hooks were in me. I was a Crow fanboy. Like, most people hated me because I liked Crow.
So I don't hate him. I have issues with how they've treated him recently.
Yeah.
Especially post Final Shape. His treatment's gotten really poor. And I don't mean like they've written him badly. I mean like the way that the community itself has treated him.
Yeah.
And then the way that the devs have in turn started writing him because of how the community's received him, I feel like has been very lackluster into who he could have been.
Yeah. I
overall.
Finally someone to, finally. So moving on, because this is not a Destiny 2 stream or a Bungie podcast.
Right.
Many streamers talk about the awkwardness of talking to seemingly no one at first. How long did it take for you before you felt comfortable with your own voice?
So as a trans person, it's always really awkward for me to have to listen to my own voice, because in my head I sound completely different, because, you know, I have that more masculine appearance in my head, and I have that more, you know, masculine way of speaking and things like that. And I you know, I still have a very feminine way of talking. I will admit it. I have some habits and mannerisms that I'm still trying to kick from, you know, 26 years of being a femme-raised person in a femme-raised world. Yeah. So it's a lot. And I hope that, you know, this is something that somebody else out there can relate to. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the comfortability in your own skin. As I've gotten more comfortable with who I am, it's gotten easier to listen to myself talk. And like I said, I'm a yapper, so my streams are 6 hours of me yapping about nothing the entire time. So going back to watch my own content, it's like, wow, do you ever shut the hell up? Oh my God. What the hell, dude?
You're just like me. It's the same as me. I always tell myself when I'm watching my VODs, because I'll be like, oh, I can't believe I said that, or why is my tone that way? Or I was like, I have to remind myself, I'm not a narcissist. No, only narcissists like the sound of their own voice.
Right.
And I just have to remind myself.
My thing is, like, people are always like, you got to keep talking when you're making content. Like, always be talking.
Yeah,
and then I go and I listen to myself and I'm like, yeah, okay, not you though. You can shut up. You don't have to talk the whole time. You can find some silence in there somewhere, buddy. You can hold your tongue for like 4 minutes.
Yeah, my partner the other day was like, I was in my bedroom where my stream setup is, and she's in the living room playing video games, and she's like, who are you talking to? Were you in Discord? I was like, no, I was just playing Once Human, talking to myself. Like, because I was monologuing what I was doing in Once Human.
The letdown of the year. Once Human is a letdown to me.
Oh, it's getting better. It's getting way better. The Visionary Wheel is a lot of fun. It's not as grueling as Way of Winter, as for like difficulty. They've added a bunch of stuff this past month or so.
The constant season reset is what pissed me off.
It's done. It's done. Playing. It's done.
Yeah, I heard they got rid of that after the backlash, but like just the fact that they did it to begin with and treated it like it was an extraction shooter, I think is what put me off about the game itself.
And a lot, and but honestly, deep down, you didn't lose anything but time. Like, so every, is it, 8 weeks, you kept all your blueprints, you kept all your good deviations, you could bring those with you. Like, it was just like, I get that when you build like an epic base, like I've seen some most beautiful, I saw a guy that was right next to me for an entire last scenario. He built a pirate ship, him and 2 of his buddies. Like, it was that big of a base. Nice. It was a pirate ship. And I thought, oh my God, that was beautiful. But the server's going to reset in 6 weeks. Like, I get that you can save a blueprint, but like, I get that. But now we're on permanent servers. They're all permanent servers now. You could leave if you want to. Like, if you're like, oh, I want to start from scratch, you can leave if you want to. Like, I didn't leave. I just made a Way of Winter account the other day that I'm going to start streaming because I wanted something different. And I'm not a PvPer. Like, I did Trials of Osiris. I got to the Lighthouse 4 times now, and I stopped playing at the most recent expansion. I did the Lighthouse 4 times, and that's a sweat. So I don't do.
Oh, that's a slogfest.
Yeah, I'm in therapy now. I don't need to do PvP. Like, I already pay my therapist enough. So, but yeah, I totally I can hope they'll get better. At least it's not pay to win. That's all what I tell myself. I think I think a lot of people go into it thinking it's a single player survival crafting game, but it's not. It's an MMO. You know what I mean? MMOs are going to have cosmetics, and they're going to have it's a live service game. And I think it's the first survival craft that's live service. If I'm thinking about it, because if you think of like Rust isn't really live service. Minecraft's not. Minecraft's kind of now, but like
Minecraft kind of got turned into a live service.
Yeah, kind
game.
of now.
The intention wasn't for it to be, but it kind of is now.
Microsoft got their hooks in. You know what I mean?
Thanks, Microsoft.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it's the first of its kind. It's an MMO survival craft. They need to add more MMO elements. Give us a reason to group up.
Do.
Give us a reason to group up.
There's outside of just because my friends want to play the game with me, there's no reason to play one team as an MMO, like at all.
Yeah, there's no like. They're talking about they have a new scenario coming. That's the whole map, which I'm excited for. It's everything. It's like a combination of combination of Manibus, Way of Winter, all together. And I'm interested in seeing that because I've been playing in Way of Winter and Manibus, and like, you know what I mean, two different characters.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. But yeah. What specific challenges weren't you prepared for when you started streaming?
The absolute volatility of the internet. I am a brown trans man on the internet, and you'd think that I would have been prepared for that shit. I was not. Oh my god! I have an Instagram reel right now that is at over 3 million views, and the comment section is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I cannot look at the comment section on that post anymore because it's just my god. And like the weird thing is too is I don't understand half of it because it's all these fucking Zoomers and like these Gen Alpha kids, and like I get they're being derogatory to me. Like the tone is there. Yeah. They're being derogatory, but they're saying this stuff that I don't I'm only 28. I just turned 28. I am by no means old, but I don't understand what these kids are saying to me. They're like, this guy's chopped, this guy's cooked. What is going on with this guy? What, like, oh my god, this guy thought to post this like because he's so fucking scoffed or whatever. I'm like, what words are you saying to me, brother? These are not English. Whatever you're saying to me, like, I get you're being derogatory. Get your hate in where you want to get your hate in. But what are you saying, dog?
I'm the same way with YouTube Shorts. I had to disable all comments on YouTube Shorts because I would get like 75% of like hearts and like positive feedback, and then I would get this quarter of people like going, so I'm a 6'4" dad bod with a beard that's not straight, so you know what I mean, like I'm straight passing, right? So I get a lot of like derogatory, and I was wearing a Stonewall shirt in my shirt. People listening, if you don't know what Stonewall is, Google it. I'm not going to educate you. And I got all sorts of hate for that, and so I've stopped. And you can't block somebody on YouTube. You can report them, but there's no way to block them. So like I can hide their comment, but I don't want to spend all of my networking time or content creation time filtering comments because it becomes endless. I have a guy that he posted 30 or 40 times for me to shave my beard. And like he called me fat, he called me all sorts of stuff, but he made multiple accounts. I was hiding some comments, like, and he was just making so many accounts so fast that I just said, okay, you've ruined it for everybody. And
now nobody gets to comment. Weirdo.
Like nobody, and everyone's like, oh, I wanted to comment on that. I'm sorry. You can go. I post the same video to Instagram. I post the same video to TikTok. You can always comment there. Instagram's almost at the point where I'm going to be disabling comments. Like,
yeah, I think I need to figure out how to do that. Like, again, I'm not old by any means. Don't get me wrong, I'm not old, but I cannot figure out Instagram. I post on there maybe once every month because I can't figure out how to use that platform at all.
Yeah,
like, when I was growing up and we had Instagram, it was post a funny little picture of you and your girlfriends out at a bar.
Yep.
And that was it. That was Instagram. Now there's like, you got to follow it like TikTok. And I'm like, I can't even keep up with TikTok half the time.
For the short form video, I put it out into the world. I expect nothing in return. If it resonates with one person, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So like, I just put it out there because I don't have time as a creator to try to figure out the algorithm. And once you figure it out, you're like, okay, this is working. They change it. So I'm like, my preferred content is what we're doing right now. and Twitch and my tutorials I make on Fridays and Sundays on YouTube, because that's the helpful content. And that's all I want to do. Were there any technical aspects you struggled with or community dynamics that caught you off guard?
I will say I am very blessed in that my chosen course in college was media creation and filmography. So when it came to the tech side of streaming, I am very advanced. Like I've got a 3 PC setup so I can stream between my two partners, my partner and I. I've got like I've got so much going on with Mix It Up. I've confused the devs of Mix It Up themselves. Like I've gone to their Discord and been like, I need help with this, and they've gone, you are doing something with our platform we never intended to be done with. We don't know how to help you. Good luck, brother.
I'm in the same way.
I'm so much with what I do that it's and again, I'm blessed to be able to do it because I learned how to do all of it in college. Like I know a lot of people don't have that ability and don't have that way of knowing how to do certain types of things and how to present certain types of things, how to market themselves in certain ways and things like that. That I have the great ability of saying that I do. So it's like, to me, the technology aspect was never that big of a deal. Like I started streaming with a DSLR and an AT2020 because that's what I had for college already. I had those things just laying around from school.
I'm the same way. I
started above the base level of what people typically start with.
Absolutely.
So
like
I'm not really not a riches story. I'm
no
by any means at all.
No, I think we have to take what we know and apply it to streaming. So before I was streamer, I was an audio engineer and I worked in tech. So like that's why I have a Rode Pod mic. You know what I mean? That's why I have a Rodecaster next to it, and I have a Mackie mixer. It was just things I had in the closet. Being an audio engineer, like I came in with an understanding, and that's why I like if you listen to audio of this is going to run through Adobe Audition with filters, and like it's going to sound like beautiful. The last 6 podcasts I've edited so far have been gorgeous in audio, but like I also have a graphic design background too in brand marketing and stuff. So I completely agree with you. You take what you know and you have to apply it, and the things you don't know, that you have to learn them. Can you pinpoint a moment when streaming shifted from just a hobby to something more significant for you in your life?
When I really sat down with myself about 2022, 2023, and had a long, hard talk with myself about my disabilities and what that meant for me returning to the workforce when it came back to like the world returning to quote unquote normalcy. And I don't think, with how my brain works and how disabled I am and things like that, that I would ever be able to go back to a normal 9 to 5. And that content, even if I don't do it in the same way all the other full-time content creators do, is the only thing that I could realistically do, because it's the only thing that's flexible enough and forgiving enough that I can take weeks off at a time when my bipolar gets bad, or I can take a couple of days off when I can't get out of bed because my knee is so fucked up that I can't leave, or if I need to take an extended break, I can take an extended break because I make my own schedule and I set the rules. And if I went back to a 9 to 5, or I even went back to like bartending like I had been doing before, or things like that, I would lose my job if I said, hey, I need 3 weeks. My depression's bad and I can't even wake up in the morning and move 3 inches out of bed to grab a glass of water. Like, I'd get fired in a heartbeat. They wouldn't stick with that.
That's about the time I got disabled through the United States. But I don't think I could go back after that either. I can barely content create, to be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything I do is like smoke and mirrors. Like it's this big game of 3D Vulcan chess that I have all these moving parts moving. My autism helps a lot with that, but my ADHD does not. Like, but I totally get that. I really do. What tangible changes did you notice in how you approach content creation after that realization?
I really doubled down on what I was doing. I started taking things more seriously when I realized that this was going to have to be my choice of work. Like I don't do I do content creation because I love it and I do it because it's a fun time, but I also do it because it's my one last connection to the world.
Yeah.
I cannot go outside. I'm immunocompromised. If I go outside and I catch COVID or I catch something else, it's serious for me.
Yeah.
Like this could be end game for me if I catch something that's super bad. So to me, content creation is my one line outside of my apartment to the rest of the world. It's my one way of being like, hi, I still exist. I'm a person. You can't write me off quite yet. It's the way that I can stay in. Like I've had friends from my old bar jobs and stuff like that come by my streams and be like, oh my God, I haven't heard from you since the pandemic. You're doing great. You look like you're doing awesome. We're proud of you, buddy. Like it's a way for me to hold on to what little sanity I have left. I don't have a lot of it. I'll be real. I don't have a lot of it at all. I'm holding on for dear life. But that little bit that I'm holding on to is held together by streaming, content creation, and the people that I know because of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm immunocompromised. I stay in oncologist once a month. And when I leave, it's because I have to. I do everything delivery. Groceries are delivered. My medications are delivered.
Mm-hmm.
The only, like everything is delivered because if I get a cold, the only thing that I've had a few colds since being on these new cancer meds. It's the most, I would have taken COVID over getting a cold on cancer meds. Like COVID when I was healthy, because that's how brutal it is. So when I say I only go out when I have to, it's to see an oncologist, see a doctor in person. But most of the time, I just see a virtual doctor. And my kids go to public school. And so I'm like, they get home and then they're like, I'm like, pool or shower? Like, we're getting germs off you some way. Like, be it if it's chlorine or if it's in the shower, because I can't afford to get sick. And because what happens when I get sick is I have to take extended stream times off. And that, like, which is great. Like, taking a break is important, but I take a break all summer long. Like, I don't stream in the summer from end of May. So my last stream will be May 20th, my birthday. I won't come back until August 20th because but also I stack a bunch of content. Still making content though. I'm just not a streamer. We all have those streaming nightmare stories. What's your most catastrophic technical failure that happened live? For example, when I was first started streaming 2021, I kicked my computer on accident and I unplugged my computer.
I was doing a tech review with an ex-friend of mine live on stream where we were going over our computer builds and building a computer for a friend of mine on PC Part Picker. Yeah. And I tapped the top of the PC case that controls my streams and hit the power button on accident and shut the whole bitch down. Oh my God. All of it. Everything went in one go. And my buddy's like texting me like, what the hell happened? You disconnected from Discord. Nothing's on Twitch anymore. What's going on? Are you okay? Like, you never disconnect like that unless there's a massive storm, but I live 10 minutes from you. There's no storm. What's going on? Like, or what's happening? And I'm like, oh, I'm just a moron and shut my PC off. I'll be back in like
3 seconds.
10 minutes. Or the very first year that I did a really big birthday thing on Twitch, I think it was like 2020, was it 21 or 22? 21 or 22, I did a massive birthday subathon. And somewhere in my math, I fudged some numbers and I ended up live for a month and a half because I did the math wrong, and one $300 tip put 1,000 hours on the clock.
Yeah, my friend Tyrex has been live for 3 weeks.
And that, as a disabled person, was brutal to me. Yeah.
I can't do long streams anymore. I did 25-hour streams for Extra Life Day. I can't do them anymore. I do an Extra Life stream to accommodate Extra Life, but I can't do those long streams anymore. It's not good for my mental health. It's not good for my physical health. But yeah.
Yeah.
I take a drink of coffee.
You're good.
And how did
coffee is important.
Yeah. How did you handle it in the moment? And what did you learn from that experience?
I learned I need to double check my math, and now every time I do a subathon, 4 of my mods have to be in a call with me when I set up the subathon timer because they don't trust me to not do that again.
I don't math. I have a master's degree in computer science, and I don't math, so I completely understand.
I just did a subathon for my birthday this past week, and when we were setting it up, I had my girlfriend and my best friend in a call with me, watching my screen, watching me input the numbers so that I didn't mess it up. They were like, okay, so that we agreed this number is this number. Here's how the math works. Put this number in. And I did it one by one that way so that we didn't mess up the math and I wasn't accidentally live for a month again.
Yeah, nope. I love my community. I love them to death. But by the end of it, I've learned a lot because one of my really good friends is a partner streamer. I've learned so much from her. The things that I will not do because I don't have the mental capacity for it. Walk us through the evolution of your streaming setup from that first stream to what it is now.
So I've almost always had the 2 PC setup because I had a MacBook that I had as my stream, and then I had a gaming PC that I got from a friend of mine that he didn't want anymore. That was really old. Like, it was like a 970 GPU in it. Like, that thing was old. I probably shouldn't have been doing anything on that PC, to be perfectly honest. And then in 2020, I used some of the government money to upgrade the streaming PC from a MacBook to a desktop that I now gave my girlfriend. I've been rotating PCs around my friend group for God only knows how long. And then in 22, I upgraded the gaming PC and sent the old gaming PC to somebody else that I now know. And it's always been a conglomerate of things. I have a wall full of consoles and things that I stream off of when I remember to actually stream off my consoles and not just stick to my PC. Technologically, I think I've stayed probably the same because I started with a high level skill floor when it came to technology.
Yeah. But I think there's some of us out there that do come from tech, that are just like hardcore gamers that built their own computer, that are going to understand what it takes to get into the space. Because just like I know so many streamers that they spend thousands on their streaming setup before even hitting the go live button once. Like a friend of mine, his first stream was 2 Elgato Stream Deck XLs with a Shure SM7B with a mirrorless camera. Like, he wanted the best of the best. But like, to me, when I started streaming from an HP Omen laptop. It has a 1080. It's still my streaming PC to this day because it does its job very well. And like, I did buy a new laptop recently that it may swap this beast out, but it does its job. So to me, if it ain't broken, I'm not going to move it. Like, when this computer stops doing its job to the effectiveness that I like, I'll put the other one in its place. I think we all start off. I think we all majority of us start off with barely and a lot. And there's some of us that have an entry into tech. They're going to start off better. Like myself and yourself. Streaming requires mastering so many different skills simultaneously. Which skill took you the longest to develop competence in?
Schedule management, I think, is the one that's taken me, and I still have problems with it to this day. With just like maintaining everything. Like, I post a TikTok twice a day. I post Instagram Reels once. I post YouTube Shorts once. I stream 5 days a week. I do TikTok streams at the same time that I do Twitch streams, and I try to post to YouTube once a week, twice if I can manage it with everything else that I do. And I'm also the sole housekeeper because my girlfriend works full time, so I clean up the house all the time, and I cook 3 meals a day. And so it's like schedule management is like the worst in the world for me, managing everything that I have to do on top of making sure that my content is where I want it to be.
Yeah. I came into schedule management for me was easy because I'm polyamorous. I understand Google Calendars very well. And that's how I schedule manage everything. Everything's on Google Calendar, like everything I do, like in my life. So when I wake up, I look at my Google Calendar. What am I doing today? But yeah, because if I don't have that structure, my ADHD takes over and then I do nothing. So I have to appease the
It's
autism.
like having the ADHD that can handle a calendar. My ADHD hates a calendar.
But my autism loves a calendar. My autism loves a calendar. My ADHD hates it. So I have this internal mental like struggle going back and forth. I just have to remind my ADHD we're doing things we love. We'll have a treat. We'll have a treat when we're done. Like edit this video or this podcast, and we'll have a treat when we're done. And that's how I game the system. So behind the scenes, most viewers don't realize how much that happens off camera, not just tech, not just editing. What is the most time-consuming aspect of your content creation that happens when the stream is off?
Honestly, probably the editing that I do, but it's not even the editing for me. I'm a freelance editor on top of content creation just to help pad the bills a little bit extra. And it's the editing that I do for others. And don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I love editing for other people. I think it's a fun time. I love getting to see other people's content and, you know, what other people are doing with their lives and what other people are doing with their content. But it's a lot of work to do anything editing wise. And I don't think a lot of people understand that getting into content creation, but editing is a lot of focus and a lot of resources on the brain to figure out, well, I liked this moment, so we're gonna elevate that. And I liked this and I liked that. And I didn't like this, so we're gonna remove that. But how do I make it look flawless so it doesn't look like I removed something in the middle and stuff like that?
Yeah, totally understanding J cuts and all that. Like, I think that there's like two types of editors. I'm an Adobe person. As much as I hate Adobe, I'm too old to learn anything else. I've been using Adobe since 1999. Like, I'm too old to learn something else. Because I've spent a career as a designer. But I'm the same way. I can design anybody anything they want. A logo, a poster, panels, whatever they want. I don't do it professionally anymore because I don't like dealing with clients anymore. But like for me, I can design anybody anything they want and I knock it out of the park. I'm happy with it. But when it comes to doing my own stuff, it takes me like 3 times as long because I'm like, oh, that's not right or that's not perfect. So I completely understand where you're coming. Editing is one of the things I try to streamline the most. Like, how can I streamline it? And for me, like the podcast, when I was thinking about it, was I just want it to be unedited. As much as, unless there's a technical issue, like if let's say you drop the call and I have to put a snap cut in or whatever, like there's going to be a cut to the audio file. Like that's the only time I really edit. For the most, I try to keep it as low because editing can take me hours. And how has that grown since from when you started editing your own stuff to where you are now? Like, did you start off small, like using software? Because I know a lot of creators use like CapCut and stuff like to kind of learn the basics, or did you jump right into doing like advanced editing?
Once again, I went to school for filmography, so I learned on Adobe products. Like I had the college subscription to Adobe for 2017 to 2022, I think is when they finally kicked me off the college plan. But like I learned a lot in school about how to edit. I learned, you know, fancy tricks and things like that they use. The guy that I learned how to video edit under was one of the guys who worked on a lot of the Tim Burton movies. So like I learned a lot of like professional grade, like film grading and audio grading and all this other stuff in school that I think a lot of content creators don't have access to, and I wish more did, because I feel like the space would be a lot less picky with each other if we all had the same base of learning.
Yeah, and like so from being in like marketing and advertising, the only thing I use DaVinci Resolve for is color grading, because I was taught how to use it at the ad agency for color grading, because I did print stuff for them, but like I always want to learn. So like that's the only thing I have DaVinci Resolve for. If when I colored graded my camera for the LUT and like do a lot of my film stuff, I want to grade it, make sure it looks the best that I can. So, but yeah, like I think I agree with you there. How has becoming more technically proficient changed not just your stream quality, but your confidence as a creator?
It always makes me feel a little more I don't want to say put together, but it always makes me feel a little bit more relieved when I finally get the piece of tech sidelined the way I want it to be, and the bigger picture comes together. Like, I'm working right now on a channel point where my viewers can use their channel points to unlock an ult, like in Valorant, and then at the end it plays an ult animation and changes the color grade of my stream for a little bit, and pops up these little overlays and then takes it back away at the end. And I've been working on that with the Mix It Up guys for a while, on how I can make that work as seamlessly as possible. And they've been a blast to work with. I love the Mix It Up devs. They're so cool.
They are so
but we've been working on that together so I can make it as seamless as possible and make it, work the way that I wanted it to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the Mix Up guys. I've been using Mix It Up for a few years now. But I'm now dabbling into webhooks, and using like JSON stuff, so I can make Mix It Up do the really unique stuff I wanted to do. So the next few questions are going to be about community and collaboration. Every streamer approaches community building differently. What's your underlying philosophy on cultivating your community? How has this approach evolved over the time that you've grown?
The base philosophy of my community and just how I go about trying to grab more people to come join is, if you feel like the world has a meaning beyond just we are all humans and we exist together, and you feel like there's more to life than just existing to exist, then you probably belong with us. We're a group of people who hang out all the time. Like, I'm looking at my Discord right now. There's like 6 kids hanging out playing God only knows what. But they're all like, we all just hang out all the time, and we all believe in like a bigger sense of community. And like, I'm a big believer in like the village. It takes a village to raise a person. It takes a village to create things. That's my village, my community, for sure.
Absolutely. I think as streamers, we have to have our foundation of, like, when things aren't going good, having those core people that we fall upon going, okay, I'm having a bad day, or things didn't go as the way they expected. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
Communities can be powerful, and I do believe that they can. Can you share a specific moment of when your community came together in a way that genuinely moved you or showed you the impact that you're building?
Probably, I'd have to say our most recent, like, event was us helping a friend who needed to get some things, and they all came together really, really well to help out that person. And it really brought warmth to my heart to see everybody come together and be the way that, be the group that they are, and be the kids that they are, and be as helpful as they are, and, really care for this person inside their community that, like, a lot of them had never met before. But I was like, hey, this person's really important to the group. They've been here for a long time. Can we help them get the things that they need? And can we help them, succeed? And my community showed up for that. And that really meant a lot to me.
That is beautiful and amazing right there. Due to the parasocial nature of streaming, it creates unique challenges. Have you ever had any situations where you had to set a boundary, and without going in the nitty-gritty details, I know for me, I was a people pleaser for so long in my life that I struggled setting boundaries until I became a streamer. It made me better at being, it's going to be this way and I'm not going to change. Did you have any unique tips to give someone that has to set those boundaries for their community?
Be upfront about it. It's your space first and foremost, and if you feel like there's somebody that makes you uncomfortable, or several people are being like, hey, this person's kind of making us uncomfortable, be upfront about that. Just take it to that person up front and be like, hey, so we've had XYZ kind of happen and we're not really vibing with that. Can we talk about it and maybe work through, why that's your reaction, or why you're acting like that, or how we can, make this a more enjoyable space for everybody. And, if that means inserting a boundary that, you didn't have previously, or that you didn't know you had previously, then it means doing that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to your comfortability first, and what you believe in first. If you have strong moral beliefs and you have a strong sense of like who you are, it'll always end up okay at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Twitch can be very supportive, and we've seen it across the board, but intensely can feel competitive. How have you navigated those genuine friendships with other creators while knowing you're essentially trying to grow your audience as well?
I think at the end of the day, it comes down to looking at it not as a competition, but more as like a lateral marathon, not a race, but a marathon. Everybody's going to run it at their own pace. Everybody's going to do their own thing in their own time. But it comes down to how you handle your end of the marathon, how you handle your part of the sprint. That really impacts your growth and if you only think of it as a race and you only think of everybody else as your competition, then you're only ever going to meet spiteful people who treat it the same way. You're only going to meet other people who view it the same way and who, see things in well, you're my competition, so I can't get too close to you, or we're in competition with each other, so I can't you stream certain games, so I can't stream those games because otherwise we're going to be in competition the whole time. Stuff like that. You run into those nitpicky people who are going to be, super weird about it. But if you open up your mind and you think of it more as like a marathon, and you think of it more as like we're all competing to do the same thing at the same end goal, it's really eye-opening to the people that, are actually there for good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. My only competition is myself from 6 months ago. That's my only competition. Everyone else, like I have a saying, and I say it in the beginning of this podcast when you hear it, is rising tide lifts all boats. And that's been my motto from day one. I don't compete with other people. We're all having a fun time, and like respecting people's boundaries and just having a fun time together. So the next few questions are about personal journey, mental health, stuff like that. Creating content can easily consume our entire life. What specific boundaries have you established between your streaming and your personal identity?
I have a very strong sense of independency from my content because I have found that if you are only your content stagnates quickly.
Yeah.
Because you put all of your all into the content. You don't give yourself time to breathe and be, a human being and have these separate life forms and all this other stuff and be, this independent person with its own thoughts. And then you lose yourself in the content, and then suddenly content's your everything. And when one thing goes wrong, you spiral really bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I've had a lot of practice in functioning in such a way that, yes, content is my life because it's my job and I need it to be, but it's also like at the end of the day, it's just something to me that I love doing because I get the opportunity to meet new people. And if I'm meeting new people, I need those new people to know who I am,
Yeah.
And if there's nothing for them to know outside of my content, then, well, what's the point of getting to know me?
Yeah, like I always tell people that I'm more than the game I'm playing. The game that I'm playing is just the activity. I want you to come because we talk about nerdy stuff and we talk about comics and tabletop movies and like whatever, you know what I mean? It's just, I'm Nerd Titan, so everything nerdy. But yeah, I totally I'm more than the game I'm playing. Just like you're more than Valorant.
Yeah.
Burnout and discouragement are common in the field. Was there a specific low point where you seriously considered walking away from streaming altogether? What specific thoughts or support systems help you push through?
In 2023, I actually hospitalized myself because I had gotten to a point with my content and with my life and this is why I know that content shouldn't be your whole life. I had gotten to the point where my content was my whole life and things weren't going well and I was spiraling really, really, really bad. And so I hospitalized myself. I took some time for myself. I took about 2 months off. And when I came back, I had a much bigger look on life and a better way of balance.
Absolutely. And
with everything.
Absolutely. I did something. I took 9 months off. I found out I had cancer, and I did all the things that you do when you find out you have central nervous system cancer. So I took 9 months off, and I realized that it's more about, it's not about me anymore. It's about the community, and I'm doing everything I can to leave a legacy that my community can just be there and exist. Let's talk about honestly about streaming and mental health. Have there been times where streaming negatively impacted your mental health being, like you've already spoken of? But how did you address these challenges? I know you spoke of about like just having those deep talks with yourself. Did you have to create boundaries? Did you have to create your own like structure for yourself?
Yeah, I definitely made it more like a 9 to 5 for myself to give myself some structure to what I was doing because I had a very unhealthy relationship with work. I have always had a very unhealthy relationship with work. I've always been 100% of work 100% of the time. Um, so especially after my hospitalization, I told myself to treat it like a 9 to 5, and I only work between X time and Y time every day.
Yeah.
Those times vary every day because of things that I have to do around the house or what my stream schedule looks like for the week, et cetera, et cetera. But I only work from X to Y, and then when Y happens, boom, clocked out. I'm done. I'm just gaming, or I'm just hanging out with my partner, or we're just doing this, that, or the other thing, or I have errands and I need to go run, and I only go run my errands. I don't come back and I don't like film while I'm running my errands or anything like that, unless I've already set that errand to be within my time of work, and then I know, hey, we're doing a day in the life of, so we're going to be recording while we're out today. That kind of like boundary inside of my life of I'm not constantly recording and I'm not constantly doing things.
Yeah, and like I think that also those boundaries help us avoid burnout and like being able to notice those signs of burnout. So you go, okay, I need to pump the brakes a little bit. Maybe I'm working a little too hard, because that's my problem as well. Like I want to do all these things and I have to do them all right now. And then I realize after I've lit that fuse that I'm going to be burnt out by the end of it. So I have to be like, okay, I'm not going to do X, or I'm not going to do Y. I'm going to do one thing at a time. Like, so burnout seems inevitable in the content creation. What were some of the early warning signs for you, and what specific recovery strategies helped you find your way back?
I didn't really have any warning signs. It kind of just crashed over top of me, and I was like, oh my God, I kind of just hate my life right now. This is all so overwhelming, and I can't really recover from this in a healthy manner that isn't going to make me want to crash out even more. And so I ended up, after my hospitalization trip, I came back and they gave me some advice on like how to balance my life more and how to be more present and how to be more aware. And, it really helps knowing now what I did back then about like not pushing through. If I start to feel like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, wow, I really just don't want to do anything, like giving into that brain mentality every once in a while and not just pushing through it and being like, well, we're going to do it anyway, and it really helps the mentality of everything, like not burning to the ground all the time when you realize that you don't have to constantly be pushing yourself
Absolutely.
at 100% of the time.
Absolutely. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about self-care, because one of my biggest like mottos is I say self-care is the most important thing we could do as a content creator. Do you schedule self-care out? You're like, okay, on this day, I'm just going to take the day for myself. Or do you do something a little different?
So I don't schedule it in that kind of sense. I'm more so like, I do things on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
And if I wake up one day and I'm like, wow, I really just can't, I put an announcement in the Discord that I'll be around all day, and then I hang out in the Discord, and I just, if I work a little bit, I work a little bit. And if I don't work a little bit, that's fine. I'm hanging out with people and I'm recharging my social battery. It just kind of turns into like a day for self, and a day for me to just kind of be Mickey instead of Music Kid, and be the funny guy and not be the streamer guy.
Absolutely. If you could travel back in time to the day before your first stream, what specific advice would you give yourself?
Don't take it so seriously. Don't be that dickhead that takes everything so seriously that you push everybody else in your life away to try and make this work for you, instead of just being present in the moment.
Absolutely. What behaviors or habits did you fall into that you wish you would have avoided from the start?
The overly aggressive manner that I tried to do everything at the beginning. I definitely tried to do too much at the beginning, and I really wish that I had taken more advice from, like, back when I started, I was streaming 2 times a day, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, I think, and then also doing 2 YouTube videos a week, streaming to TikTok 3 days a week, posting on TikTok 4 days a week, 3 times a day. Like, I was doing too much. And I really should have paid more attention to myself and my body and my mind and been like, wow, I'm doing too much.
Absolutely. I was the same way. I think I was streaming Monday through Friday for 3 hours at a time when I first started. And I was also like making YouTube clips, like not like a clip, but like a montage of clips for YouTube, and that took so much time. So yeah, now I'm 3 days a week for 5 hours a day, and that's it. Like, I drew the line in the sand. What's one or two, 3 fundamental aspects of being a Twitch streamer that most viewers or aspiring creators completely misunderstand?
I think the number one misunderstanding I see is you need to constantly be doing something. You don't always need to be doing something. There's 1,000 ways you can make content and not be making content at the same time. So you don't need to feel like everything is go, go, go all the fucking time, like everybody makes it out to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that Threads for me has been this like casual, like, I don't feel I'm making content, even though, like, if you found me on Threads, even though like it feels natural. You know what I mean? It reminds me of MySpace and Tumblr, like that kind of like in their heydays. But like it literally, I don't feel like I'm making content, but that's usually where I get most of the feedback from. Beyond just continuing your current content, what specific projects or directions are you excited to explore? Is there a dream collaboration or a content format that you haven't yet pursued?
Outside of what I'm doing now or what I have planned now, not really. I kind of have everything where I want it to be for the moment being, honestly. Like, I'm really proud of myself for finally reaching the point where I feel content with everything that I'm doing. And like, obviously I need to keep changing it up and keep pushing forward, because you should never be stagnant about what you're doing. But at the same time, it's like I feel really in a spot where I'm put together enough that I'm like, wow, I don't feel the need to rip everything apart and redo it all for once.
Yeah, I'm in that same zone. So I completely I'm feeling what you're feeling. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm happy with everything. Like, and that's my definition of success. It isn't a million views. It isn't going viral. Is it if I'm happy or not? That's how I've found my success. So this is my last question for you. For listeners who connected with your story today, where can they best find you, support you, include time zones into days you stream? This is your point to talk about whatever you have going on. Your podcast will be posted probably the last week of May. So if you have an event going on around that time, talk about it as you want. Is there any specific stream segments or community events that you're excited about? You can talk about those.
So I am live Friday and then Sunday through Tuesday at Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Time, whichever it is when you're listening to this. At ThatOneMusicKid. At the end of May, we're going to be doing a charity event for StackUp.org. We'll be raising funds for them through my sponsor, One Shot Energy. We'll be doing a 3-day event for them, hanging out, playing games, playing a lot of Gray Zone Warfare, and just raising funds for our veterans, because I come from a long line of veterans, and so I believe in, taking care of those who took care of us first. But otherwise, yeah, I'm all over social media at ThatOneMusicKid. If you can't find me, or you find somebody that doesn't look like a fat Asian guy, it's probably because it's that kid that has the YouTube handle that won't give it to me. So you're looking for ThatOneMusicKid TTV. Otherwise, if you find the fat Asian guy, you found me. Come hang out. We're always doing something goofy. It's a good time to hang out with us, I promise.
If you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, all of his links will be in the description. So you won't have to look far.
You won't have to look far. No. But yeah, TikTok is ThatOneMusicKid TTV because the ThatOneMusicKid handle's taken. YouTube, ThatOneMusicKid TTV because the ThatOneMusicKid handle's taken. Otherwise, everywhere else, it's just ThatOneMusicKid. I've had the same branding since I was 14 years old. I will die with this branding. Yeah. We're a bunch. I like to call us the merry men. We're just a happy group of guys who fuck around and have a good time.
Okay, and I would like to thank you for your
Streamer
time today, and
Conversations.
thank you
If
so
this
much.
resonated with you, please share it with a friend who might need to hear it. Remember, every creator's path is unique and valuable. Want to tell your streaming story on our show? The application link is in the description. I'm your host, Nerd Titan, and I'll catch you next time as we continue exploring the real stories behind the stream.